Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the school board business meeting. Let me get my agenda here. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:32. We are all present and accounted for, so we'll declare a quorum. And I invite you to join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll let everybody shuffle back in. We have a number of upcoming meetings. We would love to have you attend with us. One not on our agenda tonight has been published online is on Saturday, October 5th. We have our facilities tour. That starts at 7:30, bright and early, at the bus garage at the Libby Hill campus. October 9th, we have personnel and finance meeting back-to-back starting at 5:30 at central office. October 16th, curriculum committee at 5:30 and a school board workshop at 6:30. Those will be at the high school library. October 23rd will be policy committee, also at the library at 5:30. That is it for upcoming meetings. And now I'll hear any action relative to additions or adjustments to the agenda. Actually,
I have one to delay the dashboard presentation until the next meeting in November, next full meeting, because there's going to be we got some new, fresh data on science that Chandra would like to include, so we would like to.
So do you want to make a motion that we table the data dashboard presentation to the November business meeting?
Yes, I would like to make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? So for those who didn't hear the science, we were going to hear on the data dashboard a bunch of science testing data has come in, but it's massive raw data that some time needs to be spent in to make a good sense of. So it would be early to report tonight. We would then have to invite Dr. Turner back to talk about science. So this will put it all in one package in November.
Ken just got it.
Yes, I got that right. Okay. All in favor? Great. So we'll table that until November's business meeting. I actually have another one. I would hear a motion to add to tonight's agenda board sign the notice of election for the November 5th, 2025 vote.
So moved. Second.
Do what again, please? I'm sorry.
So as a board, we have some paperwork to sign for the referendum in November.
Oh,
And so we need to do that tonight for the town, so they have what they need. So, all right, all in favor? Great. And Maggie, I trust you'll be able to walk us through that. Okay, great. So we will add that to the agenda. Next, we will have our public comment. I do want to remind folks, we have been getting some public participation, which is awesome. I love to see it. We do have a policy. I have these available for anyone who wants to see it. Generally speaking, our policy on public comment is that speakers will be recognized by the board chair, will speak to us for generally up to 3 minutes. Requests for information that require further research may be referred to a superintendent. We're looking for speakers to follow basic rules of comment etiquette. We cannot hear discussion of personnel matters due to privacy and confidentiality, nor can we have any discussion of matters related to a student. Any concerns about personnel or students should be directed to the superintendent outside of a board meeting. And I will keep an eye on time and stop any public comment that's contrary to these rules. And we invite you to state your first and last name and town that you're from. Public comment?
Yes. Thank you. On 7 to...
Excuse me, can you state your name and town?
Fran Monroe Gray. And on September 18th, 24, the school board held a workshop titled 8 Characteristics of Effective School Boards. To summarize, effective school boards communicate and reach out to parents in the community for them to participate in the education process. Examples were given along with suggestions to help make this happen. At the end of the program, I was shocked at what happened next. Sam Feifel started to bully me. He accused me of providing confidential information to a member of the public. He never did state what it was that I said. He said because of this and the fact that I voted against the $33 million budget, I should resign from the school board. This is not the first time Sam has...
Okay, I'm going to stop you. Your name, we just talked about how we are not to discuss individuals as part of
Personnel.
public comment.
This is not a personnel matter.
Fran, this is not appropriate. If you have, as a member of the board, if you have an issue with another member of the board, public comment at our business meetings is not the appropriate time to do that.
I'm sorry, but I was attacked at the last public workshop.
Fran, this is not the time to do that. We're going to have to take this to another setting. This is public comment for members of the community to comment on the business of the
This
school
is the
board.
business of the school board, and the school board did not act properly.
Fran, you are a member of the school board. You're not a member. You can't just use public time and say, right now, I'm a member of the public. If you have an issue with a fellow board member, we need to
We
take...
need to make improvements in the school board, and one of the ways is to
Fran?
communicate.
Shut it down.
If you're
It's-
not going to allow me to communicate,
I'm not going to allow you to use this time. You're using it inappropriately.
this is not appropriate. This is an attack on me that I need to defend.
Fran,
I was publicly accused.
can we take
All
the
right.
microphone off? This is...
Okay, I'm not going to
This is
argue.
this is a personal...
We do get to
You
decide
do
that.
get to
Thank you.
decide
Could you
that.
please cut the feed to the public, please? Shut off the microphones.
Why are you telling the church shut her down? You're not supposed to tell the church shut her down.
Shut him down.
Excuse me, it is not your turn to talk.
But it's supposed to tell you to shut down.
That's enough.
He can't do that, it's not legal.
Excuse me. I am the chair,
he's
and I am
telling
saying,
you to shut her down, and
I
you
don't need your help, sir. I don't need your help running this meeting.
Go ahead. He said you're not doing your
Excuse
job.
me. I don't need your help running this meeting. I appreciate your defense of me, but I can handle it. Fran, I think we need to talk about this in an appropriate setting, and public comment is not it.
At the last meeting, that it was appropriate.
Is there anyone else who would like to provide public comment?
My name is Scott. Good evening. Thank you for,
Scott, could you tell us your first and last name and what town you're from?
I actually do not have to tell you my first and last name. I know the policy inside and out. Thank you.
Carry on.
Oh boy, what?
I said carry on.
No, the gentleman to your left said, oh boy. I'd just like to know what oh boy means.
I said that, I was just like, this is not going well, that's all. But
Well, the way that you just treated Fran was not well either. I didn't mean you, but the board,
You
the
used
chair,
up your
the
time.
superintendent. Get done?
You're using up your time.
And I can still do this for 3
Go ahead,
minutes.
you got 3 minutes, use it.
Why are you interrupting him?
Can I have my time reset since he wants to interrupt me, say, oh boy? And you can do that if you were.
I will reset your time. It starts now.
Thank you. We see signs around different communities that say, be kind. Is there something funny? He's constantly trying to antagonize me.
Sir, just direct your comments to me and...
Then ask him to stop being disrespectful.
Jim?
Yes, Jim, the one that said, oh boy, here we go, he's antagonizing me.
I'm on your side, you idiot.
Regardless if you're on my side, do we need to name call?
Evidently.
So we're supposed to be kind to people, but we can attack our seniors. We can attack our board members. The definition of being kind is having a difference of opinion and respecting that. We're supposed to respect people, whether they have the same opinion or not. We're supposed to be listening to people, being quick to listen and slow to speak, because what she has to say may vary from what you have to say. But it doesn't make what she has to say any less important than what you have to say. And to publicly humiliate her, you're supposed to be the board. You're supposed to be an example to our children, to the people watching, like these young folks right here. They're watching what adults do, whether they say it or not. And how you treated her was not kind. You're supposed to be better than that. We elected you to be better than that, not to bully people. I just say, just think about it. Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror, just think about it. Would you want to be treated the way Fran was treated? I don't think you would be. I certainly wouldn't want to be. And I apologize, Jim. I didn't know you were on my side, because it's not about a side to me. It's just respect.
I understand.
I wouldn't have called you an idiot. I wouldn't have said those things. But you're entitled to that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
I meant no disrespect. But
And I
it's
didn't
still
take it that way.
you know?
I'm just amped up because I'm tired of a particular demographic of people being bullies. And if you don't go along with what they say, you're the enemy.
Understood.
Fran is a great individual. She cares about her community, and it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, old, young, rich, poor, gay, straight. She cares about her community and her state. Start respecting a difference of opinion, please.
Good evening. My name is Sue Fuller, and I am from Gray. I have a few concerns I would like to comment on, and I wished I didn't have to. I understand the school board had a workshop on Wednesday, September 18th, that was not televised or recorded, at which time one board member was verbally attacked by some members of the school board. This situation appears to have been pre-planned by other board members for this workshop, as several came with prepared speeches. Yes, Fran voted no on the 24-25 school budget, as did another person. Fran was asked to resign her position during the meeting for not being a team player. I spoke with Maine School Management in Augusta, and I said she was officially elected to the school board, and would have to have, they said you'd have to have a very good reason to ask her to step down, but definitely not by another board member. It is well within a citizen's right to vote as they choose. As you stated, Fran had given me confidential information that I posted online. I have no idea what you're referring to. Fran absolutely did not divulge such information. Fran, as an elected official, takes her position very seriously. She does her research and attempts to provide the board with what she discovers. This accusing concerns me, and I'm requesting that you provide me with a copy of that information, the letter or conversations, whatever. I'd like to see a copy of it to avoid a FOIA request that could include emails, text messages, and letters between board members and superintendent. It is my understanding only personnel matters and legal related items in accordance to state statute are confidential. In my opinion, this letter would not have been confidential. As elected officials, this board must conduct all school business at a public meeting with notice. We hold this board to a high standard of transparency, which includes all conversations and meetings that must take place within the regular school board meeting. Thank you for listening to my concerns. Thank you.
George Colby, New Gloucester. Who knows who Pender Macon is?
I do.
Good. I'm going to read the statement she made in 2023. Traditional academic learning, like reading, writing, and math, should be a lower priority in Maine schools than social-emotionally learning and programming on race and gender. Maine Department of Education Commissioner Penda Macon told lawmakers on Wednesday. I don't have the date. Anyway, academic learning is definitely going to take a back seat to all of these other pieces, Macon told lawmakers on the Education and Cultural Affairs Committee. Macon's comments came amid a legislative hearing on the Federal Department of Education's recent threat to withhold Title I-A administrative funds due to issues with Maine student testing. Near the end of the hearing, Republican lawmakers asked Macon about the trade-offs that come when a school decides to focus on equity, diversity, gender theory, and social-emotional program. In response, Macon expressed the view that students are logically incapable of learning about math, reading, and writing unless the teachers first address their social-emotional needs. She's wrong on that. One more comment. If you don't like a school board member, anybody that doesn't like a school board member, there is a correct process in both towns for cause to get rid of them.
Good evening. My name is Al Ballesteros from Gray. I would like to ask first, is this meeting being recorded?
Yes, we're on
Excellent.
air right now.
Very good. Because the last one was not.
The last business meeting?
No, the last meeting that you had, that was not.
That was the presentation.
It's a workshop.
We don't televise workshops. We never
Excellent.
have.
Today you have here members of the public and you have children. I didn't speak before trying to help you. I tried to highlight that this is not the way things should be done. When you allow the superintendent or some other member of the board to tell you, shut her down, that's disrespectful. Yes, sir, you told her several times, shut her down, referring to Fran Monroe when she was speaking. She's not only a lady, she's a veteran widow, and she's a senior citizen. You should not refer to her with those words, shut her down. That's not democratic, that's not the way we speak here, and that's not what we say in front of our children. So I think it's a shame. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Pam Edson, and I live in Gray. And I just want to start by saying that I appreciate what you all do. I understand that it's a hard job, and it's one I wouldn't want. And I just want you to know, in coming here tonight, I looked up the definition of a school board member, and it says they establish a vision and goals for the public schools in their district, and they set standards for the performance of schools and superintendents. Most school board members are elected by people in their community to represent their values, views, and desires for the public schools in their district. Well, this is exactly why I voted for Frances Monroe for school board seat. I've known Fran for as long as I can remember voting. Fran was my tax accountant for years. I am very aware that Fran has a reputation of taking her job very seriously. She does her homework. I've been around long enough to know that when people see Fran coming, their thought is often, now what? I worked at the town office many years, and I might have had that same thought myself. Every town, every board should have a Fran Monroe, someone who challenges the group, looks for answers. I would never vote for an official that I felt could not stand up for their own beliefs and values. Never would I vote for just a yes person. I would rather have a good school board member that has thoughts and concerns and shares them, even if I don't like them, than ones that sit week after week and express very few thoughts of their own and go with the flow, being more interested in being popular than doing what's right or doing the hard thing. Fran has been to at least 3 full-day seminars, several at night, trying to better grasp the gravity and knowledge needed to be a school board member. I appreciate the fact that she is a lifetime learner. This woman never ceases to amaze me. She has always been active in the community. She's still employed by LL Bean. She mows, plants, goes to church, to the county meetings, to the town council meetings, the GOP meetings, and quite frankly, puts all of us to shame. Which brings me to why I'm here tonight. Fran Monroe was mistreated at the prior workshop meeting, which was not televised and should be going forward. I would expect it's the chair's responsibility to help foster an environment where one can feel that they can constructively scrutinize budgets, administration, as well as policy that's created without fear of retaliation. Not the opposite, where you're blindsided at a meeting, treated suspect with no evidence whatsoever in front of your peers publicly. It is hard to fathom that at a time when intolerance is at an all-time high in every aspect of our society and government, that any one of you would embrace what played out in the meeting the other night as appropriate or warranted. As Mr. Pfeiffer was leveling his accusations, not one of you had the courage to say, "This is out of line," but you did tonight. Those of you who are conservative-minded, I'm asking you to find your voice. Please, find your voice. We live in a democracy where you may not like another's views, but you need to respect the right to have their own views. I think that I might have learned that in Russell School in 4th grade, and maybe that isn't taught now, since in broad daylight, high school kids are seen taking
Pam,
political signs.
Sorry, you're about 30 seconds over
All
time.
right, well, I've just got one more minute. Can I just finish?
No.
I've got one? All right.
Yeah, hi, my name's Bill Gardner Gray. I've never been to one of these meetings before, but I think it was totally disrespectful the way Fran was treated, number one. But also, I can remember back in the 80s when our school children were like in the top 5% of the country, and now we're like in the 30 or something, 40%, and we spend millions of dollars more and more and more every year. Whose fault is this? What's your job? I mean, you know, why aren't our kids doing better? I got a grandchild who's totally lost in high school, doesn't know anything, doesn't even know who we fought in the revolution. What are you teaching them? That's all I got to say. That's good.
Hi, my name is Rose Massey. I'm a resident of Gray. I'm here standing for the truth. I know some of you might not understand the truth, your truth, my truth, but I stand for the truth that very few people understand. These children in these school systems, what are they taught? There's a little boy that I know that goes to this school. He's 5. And he's taught that he can be multiple genders. And you're okay with that. How can that be? And he can barely read. His sister can't even spell, and she's gone through 3 genders. Okay? And this is what you do? Instead of focusing on the children, okay? Safety of our children. Why fight? I thought we all learned in preschool, kindergarten, catechism, do unto others, you would have them do unto you. I will do for you what you do for me. I'll help you. Any of you see me in the community, I'll help you. That's the truth. I will, as long as it's with the law. We stand for the law, and a higher law I stand for.
Madam Chair,
Sam?
I make one statement since it's a good follow-on from that right there.
Yes?
So the exact words that I said in the last workshop were, if you can't put the kids first, then you should resign. I stand by that.
Any other public comment? All right, moving on to recognition. Oh, no, sorry, I skipped. I look for a motion to accept as printed the minutes of the September 4th regular business meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Anyone see anything in the minutes? None, all in favor? Great. Recognition.
Okay, I'd like to recognize our robotics team received a $3,000 grant from the Boeing Corporation that goes directly towards the first registration costs for the robotics team. As I said at the last business meeting, the Community Service Club was recognized by the Good Shepherd Food Bank for the extensive amount of work and the number of poundage of food and produce that they had delivered to the community. I invited some students and Mrs. Light to give us a presentation on the work that the Community Service Club does with the backpack program.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lyda Chase-Lassard, and I'm a junior.
And I'm Lacey Wilson, I'm a sophomore, and today we are here to talk about G&G Community Service Club.
As you can see, this is our club from last year. We had about 100 members, making us the biggest club in the school.
For those of you who don't know, G&G Community Service Club is an opportunity for students to engage in self-designed and self-led projects. Being a part of the club allows members to make a difference in their school, community, and the world around them.
Our club is organized by many different people. For example, we have 2 club advisors that help supervise and support the members. We also have a club board which works alongside the advisors to make decisions from a student point of view. And then we also have the club itself, which consists of everybody and is where the volunteers come from.
In order to be a part of the Community Service Club, members must obtain 10 hours per semester. The only requirement is that you have 3 projects through the club. Outside projects can be counted and are encouraged.
The way the club works is pretty simple. Community and school members will reach out to the club advisors about some volunteers that they want. These projects will then be assigned to a project leader. The project leader will then make a sign-up sheet and it will get posted onto our Google Classroom, and then volunteers will go there and sign up. And then close to the date, the project leaders will remind the volunteers what they have to do and where they have to go. And then after the event, they'll follow up with the club advisors and let them know how everything went.
This is an example of how being a project leader works. Many steps go into the process, as well as a lot of time to get used to being a project leader. Project leaders can come from every grade and are highly encouraged. They play a major role in the club and help everything run smoothly.
These are some of the projects we have done in the past. Some of the popular ones are the Ugly Sweater Contest and the Blueberry Festival. And one of the big ones that we do is the Red Cross Blood Drive, which we have coming up this month.
Another big project we have is pumpkin carving for Camp Sunshine. Every year we carve over 1,000 pumpkins for Camp Sunshine. This project gets not only members of the club involved, but also fellow classmates. The people who sell the pumpkins to Pineland the money goes to Camp Sunshine and Kids with Cancer.
Another easy project that everybody loves is the Thanksgiving baskets. The board and the club come together and get food so we can put together Thanksgiving baskets for families in the community.
The project me and Lina are in charge of is Backpack Club. In Backpack Club, we package foods for families across the district every single week. The bags consist of different foods, and we get many members involved in this. The people involved in this are the Excel program, Ray, guidance counselors at the school, and custodians at the different schools, and Anissa Chambers.
Last year, Backpack Club produced 10,665 meals and brought 12,798 pounds of food into the community.
Another project we do is the Poinsettia fundraiser. This is the only fundraiser we do to raise money for the club. This project helps us raise money for scholarships that go to both students in the club and students who are involved in community service outside of the club. In the past, we've also used the money to fill up oil tanks and help at animal shelters.
Any questions?
Great presentation, well done.
I'm elated by your projects. I'm so excited. I'm like want to do a cartwheel right now. Like I can't even tell you how happy I am. I've been a huge community service advocate. I put in hours weekly at the Good Shepherd myself. I'm the Good Shepherd, their only ambassador they've ever had. And if you search up my name on their website, you'll see all of my journey fighting hunger throughout the country and the world. I just got back from Paris and spent time at a FIBA food bank office working there. So I can't applaud you enough for feeding and families that in need in our community. That's very honorable of you. It's a lot of work, but one person can make a difference, and I can't believe that difference that 100 of you are making. So congratulations, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Any questions? No, I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question?
You can't, actually.
You can now.
Yeah, you can after. Questions from the board?
I have one.
Fran?
You mentioned something about the scholarship money. Where is that going this year?
A group, we pick seniors who are really involved in the club and in the community, and they get scholarships. And there's normally certain amounts, there's some higher ones and some lower ones.
So what do they use the scholarship for? What's the name of the scholarship?
Can I talk
Yep.
up here? It's the Community Service Club Scholarship. It can go to kids in the club or outside of the club if they volunteer through the school, and it's for college. Or a board from the Caring Communities got it one year. They helped to give a scholarship to this boy who was really active in Caring Communities. He went to a trade school, I think, is what he did. Yeah.
Blood drive, is that something you'd like to plug? Is that internal to the school? Is it a community? Are you looking for people from the community to come participate in your blood drive? Do you want to tell us when?
We take people from the school and the community.
Okay.
Do you have a date for that yet?
We sure do.
October 26th? 22nd.
October 22nd. And where does it happen?
It's in our auxiliary gym.
Oh. At the high school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what time?
School day?
8 to 1.
8 to 1.
It's a great program because a lot of kids donate for the very first time at that blood drive, which is awesome. Yeah.
That's great. And how old do you have to be to donate?
Yeah.
16 with
parental permission.
Okay. Great. Any?
Just a quick comment. Community Service Club has been huge in this school for years. My son graduated 10 years ago, and there was 100+ members when he was in high school. There's still 100+ members, so congratulations to you folks for keeping this, front of mind and keeping the kids involved. And what other thing can you say? You've got 100 kids pulling in the same direction for such a good cause. I just think it's great, man, to recognize you guys. It's just a wonderful thing. Nice job.
All right, well, thank you for coming in. You're certainly welcome to enjoy more of the school board business meeting, but it's also totally customary for student presenters to run for the hills. So that's up to you. It will not be held against you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great job, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is a discussion on Gray Community Television with Kyle. Oh, coming out of the booth.
Hello, school board. My name is Kyle Hodiniak. I am the Director of IT and Communications for the town of Gray, and I'm also the man behind the glass whenever you are here. And we're here today to talk about a new position that has been pitched. I know you heard about this before, but I'm here today to help alleviate any questions or concerns you might have about it. I'll go over briefly what it is, just as a reminder. This position is called the Media Production Coordinator. And the genesis of this idea came from the fact that 3 entities in our community, Town of Gray, Town of New Gloucester, and the school board, have basically the same goal, which is to be as transparent and accessible as possible when it comes to your meetings. And right now, I'm the person who fills this role for Gray. I broadcast and record all the meetings that happen here. That includes Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the School Board, and the Town Council workshops and meetings. Earlier this year, we did have someone in part-time to do this broadcasting work, someone to stay, during these later nights to do this job. You may remember him. His name is Brad. However, Brad left us for another job in February, and so since then I've been filling this role as I've been doing for the last 3 years or so. And we realize, at least we realize here in Gray, that perhaps we should have a broadcaster here, someone who is not me, someone who knows how to do this, and that way I can do my department head responsibilities during the day and such. When we realized this, we also realized New Gloucester will have need of a station manager coming up pretty soon. And while we were thinking about Gray and New Gloucester, I also thought perhaps the school board could benefit from a media production coordinator. This person would be responsible for not only recording your meetings here, but also recording your meetings whenever you're not here and you're not in New Gloucester. So I think notably you meet in the high school, and those meetings are generally recorded, I think, but it's sometimes logistically kind of tough to get those done. So the idea we formulated is perhaps a media production coordinator could fill all of these roles. This would be someone who is professional or near professional when it comes to broadcasting and using this equipment and knowing how to do it and how to do it well. And we thought perhaps all 3 of these entities, School Board, New Gloucester, and Gray, could come together and support this. So with that refresher, were there any outstanding questions you had from when you heard about this before? Happy, I'm at your disposal.
Questions for Kyle?
I do.
Yes.
So when you were part-time at one time, correct?
I started with the Town of Gray in 2021 as a full-time person.
Oh, you were full-time?
Yes. Yep.
So we had someone part-time before that?
Before I came on board, we had a volunteer doing this, Brad Fogg, who was on the ZBA. Having a volunteer come in here is great, but even since I came on board. We've made the responsibilities behind the glass there quite a bit more technical in the goal of being transparent. So for example, before I came here, this wasn't broadcast on Facebook and YouTube, but it is tonight. And that's because we added that ability to do that. We've added the ability for hybrid meetings. So whenever the town council or planning board or ZBA have meetings, you can join on Microsoft Teams. So all of these aspects, in addition to the regular broadcasting responsibilities, can get quite a bit technical. And while we're talking about the technicality of it, that is something I am optimistic we'll find someone to do. But I suspect the hiring process, should this position move forward, I would love to see someone who is technologically adept, someone who is able to learn this stuff and just have an intuitive feel for it, because sometimes things happen during a live broadcast and you need to be able to figure it out. That was a long-winded answer to your question. Did that answer your question?
So then that person would be working daytime and nighttime, or just, I mean, should I say full-time, or is it just evenings?
Right now, the hypothetical media production coordinator would be part-time. And we're suspecting, by my estimation, about 15 hours a week to work between the responsibilities of all three entities. I envision a future where we might not be able to find someone to do it part-time and therefore need to perhaps plan to do it full-time, but that would require a bit more planning financially and logistically and stuff like that.
So except for the presence of being at a meeting, I'm sorry, should I continue? So for the sole purpose at this time is to record the evening meetings for the school board and the town council and the New Gloucester Selectmen, correct?
Yes, so an important distinction is that this person would serve as the manager of New Gloucester Television. They already have a broadcaster who actually, pushes the buttons to record the meeting, but they're looking for a manager for that TV station. So this person would not necessarily be the one to go to New Gloucester at night for their select board meetings. They would be there to make sure everything else is working just fine for the station.
What is your, excuse me, one more last question. What is your plan for, how would this improve the readership, watchship, what do you call it?
Viewership? Viewership, yeah.
The viewers, the viewers.
Well, if people want to go and watch a meeting of any kind, let's say school board, and say the video quality is not good, the audio quality is not good, or maybe it's not broadcast at all, they're not going to be able to watch it. So the idea is to have someone who, again, is professional or near professional, know how to operate this equipment, and if this was a partnership we pursued, we can also use some equipment we have here to, say, log to the high school and record one of your meetings there. So if we put the content out there, then in my view, even if one person watches, it would be worth it. Hopefully more than one person watches, though.
Cool.
I apologize if I'm a little slow, but I guess my question, I'm a little direct. What is it you're asking? I guess, is this a financial obligation to this board? What are you asking?
Yep, so this would be a financial obligation between all three entities. I believe in the draft proposal we have before the school board, it's about $7,000 to help fund this part-time position. And that is less than what we are suggesting for Gray and New Gloucester, respectively.
Oh, Adam?
So, do you think the current viewership would justify that financially if you broke it down like cost per view? I think we're, I don't know, as we're crushing it on views.
You're at least crushing it in in-person attendance.
So, is there a plan to, or some type of guarantee or anticipated increase? Or how are you anticipating more people watching? Just better audio and video quality, or?
Well, I did not check your viewership stats for any of your previous meetings, but I would like to think that if we provide people the ability to watch these meetings on any device, on any platform, YouTube, Facebook, the cable channel. People will start to tune in. That's what at least we found for the Town of Gray meetings. I can say viewership has increased since we started offering these meetings on live streamed on YouTube and Facebook. It's been great to see.
A couple questions. First question, will this also include broadcasting of workshops?
What is this based on, our portion of this? Like, how many meetings would you anticipate broadcasting for us?
I suspect this position would be able to broadcast any ones you would like to have broadcast. And that's also why this position, part of the hiring process, will need someone who can be quite flexible. Scheduling.
So we could, how about various untraditional venues? If we meet at the school or something.
Yeah. We can bring our nice equipment in the back over to a remote venue.
Okay. And my last question, excuse me, is how was the formula determined about how the cost would be shared?
So at least on our end here, we already had budgeted some money, maybe $3,600 or so, for the person who was Brad doing this part-time. But then to accommodate this kind of shared venture we would like to do, we can divert some money from elsewhere in our budget to help fund this person. Because we want to find someone who is qualified, and if you don't pay someone, then they won't come. So between the three entities, we are envisioning about $35 an hour is about what it shakes out to be for this person, which is pretty good.
I guess I have a related line of thinking and questioning that Jim's on is, I don't disagree in the value and what that person needs to make, but at $36 an hour at $7,000 a year for the board, well, that's like 190 hours that I don't see us needing 190 hours of screen time.
Are you factoring just the business meetings here?
Am I doing this wrong? So we're looking at how you came to the 7,000 for us. And if you're saying this person is going to make $35 an hour, that has us, I think, significantly more than we'll use. Am I saying this wrong?
So if the numbers, if the numbers for this aren't to your collective liking, this is still just a draft proposal. If you would like to change the, your investment up, we can see if you want to go higher or lower, and then we can, try to.
Could this include things like streaming or broadcasting, student chorus productions, or a basketball game, or is there some interest or creativity around what kinds of things are broadcasting, or is this simply we'll come to your meetings?
I imagine we can definitely make some of that work. It may be tough if this person is part-time and they're already trying to do a lot of evening meetings over the course of any given month. If they're able to make it to other events, that would be something to figure out if we were to find applicants. But personally, I think this person the position is designed to help, create the fabric of this community to be a little closer together. And so to be able to go out and record and broadcast not only, formal events like this, but also something like a sports game, I would be all for exploring that option.
More questions, thoughts?
Yeah, I guess my only concern is I know us as a board kind of get bounced around to different meeting locations because of conflicts and scheduling and things like that. So I guess that'd be my only major concern is if we did decide to do something like this and the planning board has a meeting that's being aired here, then we're at the high school library. Is that capable of airing both? I don't.
So I could say if there was a conflict and you needed someone, if there were two meetings at once, I would be the backup. to go to the second meeting to record and broadcast.
We have the equipment to do that.
Yep, sure do.
I see, one second. I am cutting it another way. Say we broadcast our monthly meetings and our workshops for an average of 2 meetings a month. That's still, 24 meetings at $7,000. That's $291 a meeting. So I'm very interested in having access to this kind of person, but I see it making more sense for us if we were to sign up for a certain amount of time and pay for it. Fran and then Sam.
So some of the reason is that the equipment, there's problems with the equipment every so often. This whole new idea, is it going to include purchase of new equipment as well?
Well, purchase of equipment for use for stuff like this could possibly already be included in the GCTV budget, the Gray Community Television budget that I help administer for the town of Gray. But if there was a piece of equipment, for example, maybe like a mini soundboard that would be useful for you folks when you hold meetings wherever, we can certainly explore purchasing something like that.
Sam?
I was just going to say, we can't really make an investment until budget season anyway. I expect to have a tight budget season like we used to. In the last budget season, it was so tight that we were, down to trimming JV sports coaches and, like we were watching every penny. So I think we should refer this to our finance committee and, they're going to have to process it along with the other new asks. I don't oppose this at all. I just think it's in the mix for, new spends.
Do you have a copy of the proposal? Did it come to you?
I sent it to
To everybody.
It's in the materials from last.
This is a Gray hire, though. The town of Gray is
Yes.
hiring this person.
Yes, so this person I would be supervising this person, but for New Gloucester and the school and the MS 15 respectively, you would have one staffer. I think your director of technology would be like the liaison for this person. So if there was something happening at the high school and needed to be like let in the building, then this person would contact Chris. But formally, I would be this person's supervisor, and it would be a great position.
When you were covering these meetings, but you are covering these meetings,
Yep.
Are you getting a stipend or is that part of your salary?
It's part of my salary, it's part of my job.
Part of your job?
Yep. Or I should say, historically, it's been part of my job.
Excuse me?
I should say, historically, it's been part of my job, but there is certainly reasoning to think that we can have a broadcaster do this in a dedicated way and not a town of Gray department head.
Any other questions? Yeah, I think Sam's suggestion is probably the wisest course, that we defer to a finance committee, have them add it to their agenda, and look at next steps. What's your timeline? Do you have a set timeline, or?
Logistically, it's kind of tough because we're trying to work with you folks, New Gloucester and Gray. So I believe the New Gloucester Select Board is going to hear about this later this month. Our town manager is going to go there. But generally, we would like to see something happen maybe later this winter, if not early next year. I suspect it might be a fairly long hiring process just to find the right candidate, like I said, for this technical and flexible job.
All right, well, appreciate your time coming out of the booth.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll have our finance committee add it to their agenda moving forward.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, do we take a vote on that, whether or not we want to send it to the finance committee, or we just automatically send it there? How does that work?
I don't think we need to take a vote on deferring it to
Referring
finance.
it. Yeah, no.
It's a part of their job to build the budget.
So is this like saying we've already accepted this proposal, not the context, but just the idea?
No, just
Okay, just
Just,
let it
yeah,
clear.
that normally we wouldn't hear things as a full board that are financial, right? We would send it to, we should have sent it to finance from the outset. But,
Okay.
yes. I'm still learning. So, yeah, let's do that. All right, next up, update on the strategic plan. Did you lose your microphone?
I know, it's cheers.
Massive. They are massive.
So, let's see. There. So, good evening. Strategic plan, the district has a strategic plan, and they began developing formal strategic plans in the year 2016. And we renew it every year. We come to the board every 6 months with a follow-up to the strategic plan. Strategic plan sort of got slowed down a bit during COVID. We've had some new board members. And so I'm going to take some time to do a refresher on what exactly we do with strategic plan, what it is, how it works, what's the process. And so I'll give you a brief refresher, and folks at home might benefit from exactly what we do. The strategic plan, we'll start with what is the MSAD 15 strategic plan. The MSAD 15 strategic plan is a roadmap that helps guide our school district's leadership and improvement efforts. It is a living document that helps MSAD 15 continuously improve and plan for the future. The design and structure of the strategic plan has 4 structural components that define and delineate the work of the school district for today and with an eye to the future. The first piece is the district vision statement. The second are the goals that we're trying to accomplish. Then what are the priorities? And then what are the deliverables? And I'll elaborate a little bit on those. The vision is an expression of our core values and beliefs that create an image of what we want our schools to look like and achieve. The goals are the primary objectives which the school district would like to accomplish. The priorities are tasks and assignments that have a sense of urgency to complete in service to our goals and vision. And then the deliverables are specific tasks and assignments that have been completed or will be completed within a specified time frame. So the vision, and I think 9 of you were on the board the summer before last when you did some visioning work. At one of the workshops, you spent about 2 hours talking about what the vision is for this school district. And actually, I think you had 2 sessions. You spent a good 90 minutes at one session, and then you came back later in October and reworked what the vision is. And so this has been updated quite recently, about a year ago. And the vision is we, the community, students, and staff, form an educational partnership that will provide a safe, fun, healthy, caring, and challenging environment where all learn, succeed, grow, mature, and aspire to meet higher standards. We recognize the need for adaptability in the face of continuing social and technological changes, and we are committed to the development of compassionate, critical, and creative thinkers. We honor the individual and promote personal leadership by fostering intellectual, cultural, civic, social, and personal growth. So that is utopia, nirvana. It's your vision of what you would love our schools to look like. And it's a strategic plan lays out the work for us to get there. So an example, under the vision, Goal 1, we have 4 primary goals in this district. All learners in MSAD 15 will experience high-quality instruction and be able to demonstrate skills for lifelong learning, work, and citizenship. So a sample priority for Goal 1 would be to integrate co-curricular activities, emerging of athletic and academic, as an integral part of the total middle and high school experience. So to help achieve that goal this year, a sample deliverable to help achieve that priority is to reinstate the interscholastic mathematics team and explore student interest in a science and technology club. Goal 2, all learners in MSAD 15 will attend schools that are safe, nurturing, and responsive to the social and emotional well-being of everyone. A sample priority for Goal 2 is to improve Tier 1 and Tier 3 social and emotional instructional interventions. A sample deliverable to achieve that priority and that goal is to begin implementation of restorative justice practices in grades 3 through 8. Goal 3, all learners in MSAD 15 will attend schools that have high-quality indoor and outdoor facilities that meet the academic, co-curricular, and other student service needs. So a sample priority for Goal 3, create better space in our buildings for bringing the community together for arts and cultural events. A sample deliverable for this Goal 3 priority, establish and organize a comprehensive plan for the November 5, 2024 grant and bond referendum. Goal 4, all MSAD 15 employees will collaborate and coordinate highly functional and operational systems to benefit students and staff. A sample priority for Goal 4, refine and update job descriptions. And a deliverable that we have for Goal 4 as a priority is to create and publish a database of job descriptions that can be accessed by staff and stakeholders. So that's the structure of the strategic plan. And as you see, we begin with the vision. The school board spends a few hours working on what they really envision as a great school or a great school system. And then we break that into goals. What are the goals that we can set to help get to that vision? And then we start naming priorities. There's about 50, 60, 70 things we could do, but we need to prioritize which ones we do first and which will come second. And then the deliverables, and that's usually what we give you at the 6-month point in the year or the annual overview, is the deliverables. This is what we accomplished in the last 6 months. This is what we've accomplished in the last year. So for example, 2 of the elementary schools got paving this summer. So that's one of the deliverables is, to improve the parking lots, improve the facilities of school. The deliverable this year was to get some more paving done for school improvements at the elementary level. And so I am going to share 2 things with you tonight. Now that we've had a bit, before I go on, are there any questions about the structure, purpose, why we have a strategic plan? Yes.
I had one question, no, actually a couple, but I don't want to. What is restorative justice for grades 3 to 6.
So restorative justice is, it's a system for behavior and helping students learn from their behaviors and helping students learn from their mistakes. So for example, you might have a student get in trouble at recess, and there might be a punitive measure, but a second step might be the two students who may have had an altercation and sitting with the guidance counselor or sitting with the teacher or sitting with the principal and talking it out. What led to this skirmish on the playground? What could be done to prevent it? What's going to happen tomorrow when you get on the playground? What are you two going to do to sort of avoid doing things or saying things that might lead to another altercation? So it's a way of not merely punishing a student, but also getting them to really reflect and hopefully change some of their behavior.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do, well, this is what I'm going to skip ahead. So we're going to look at the MSAD 15 update on strategic plan 2023-24 deliverables. So it's a lot. We did a lot last year. And then I'm going to distribute the MSAD 15 strategic plan deliverables for 2024-25, what we're going to report to you next June, July, or August. And so that's a lot of work. It's a lot for you to read. It's a lot for you to digest. I could put these through the screen and spend 30 minutes going through each one, which would be a bit painful. So what I think I'd like to do is this. I'm going to give you these for 5 or 6 minutes to flip through them, maybe come up with a second question or so. But over the next week or so, spend some time reading the two documents in their entirety. Keep track of questions or comments you have. We will bring the strategic plan back for a Q&A discussion after the board has had time to review and digest the two documents. The Q&A discussion can be scheduled as part of our October 16 workshop or November 6 school board business agenda. After the Q&A session, after the board's had a chance to give input or suggestions or maybe revisions, then the final revisions will be made and the final document will be posted on our website and distributed to the faculty and staff. And so, is that agreeable to people?
Yeah.
So if it's okay with the chair, do we want to let people just look through these for 10 minutes or just put it in their homework bag and move on?
I don't know that that's a good use of time.
Okay.
If we're going to have to come back to it anyway, I want everyone to be able to look at it.
Okay.
Is there a digital version of these documents?
I haven't done it digitally yet because I don't want digital floating out because technically these are drafts.
Right.
I can send you a digital one tomorrow if you want to wait for it.
I mean,
We should have it in our materials folder anyway.
right, it has to be distributed in the
Tonight.
materials folder.
Yeah, so we should add it. We can do the draft watermark, but it should be added to our materials.
I prefer the
Yeah, I'd like
copy.
Yeah, I mean, we can pass out the hard copies too, but.
Right.
Read it, I'm gonna highlight it.
All right, if you want a hard copy, just take one and pass it down.
I'm just saying it needs to be in our board materials.
Yes. Maggie, could we add that?
And I'll catch them on this end.
Oh, sorry. No, I like to be transparent and make sure all the materials that are distributed are also available to people who are watching online.
Oh, yes, that too.
Craig, these are both draft
Yes, so one
documents?
is the deliverables that were from last year. And then the other one is the work review for 2024-25.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments about this piece or this process for next time before we move on, or are we good to put it back on our agenda? All right. Welcome back. Next up, staffing update.
Oh, okay. So this is hot off the press from 3 o'clock this afternoon, our latest staffing update. So the first column is open positions that we continue to advertise and we continue to recruit. Hard to fill positions. The second column, we have interviews in process for these positions. And then the third column is final stages of filling out their W-2 forms or being brought to the school board for a vote if they're under the teacher contract. And so the big concern continues to be the ed technicians that support mostly our special services students. There is a shortage. We interview every viable applicant, and we hire every viable applicant. And the kitchen is very short-staffed as well. I've met with the support staff union leadership yesterday to talk about some ideas of working for ways to increase the ability of people to who are underemployed, for example, if they're working 22 hours as a custodian, or if they're working 32 hours in another as an ed tech, are they willing and able to perhaps do 8 hours in the kitchen? So we're looking at doing more for people that are working in the 30 to 32 hour range. Are they willing to work an extra 8 hours and be a full-time employee at 40 hours? And we think that might bear fruit to fill 2 or 3 of these positions if we're lucky. And so we are exploring ways to do this internally. One of the kitchen position comes with fairly good benefits if you're working over a number of hours. So the kitchen personnel, if they move from those that are working 22 hours don't really qualify for a lot of benefits, but if they move to 32 or 40 hours, the benefits increase substantially. So we are doing what we can to entice people in that direction. So we continue the effort.
On the food service assistants, 7 assistant, are we talking all the schools, is that it?
Yeah, that's all of schools.
I had a question on that too. How does that compare, in the food service, how does that compare to how we were staffed last year? Are we in a similar or more dire?
We're moving a little backwards. So our pay is competitive if you are working and getting the benefits package. If you are simply working 22 hours in the kitchen and not really able to take full advantage of the benefits package, there are restaurants in town, I think McDonald's is at $18 an hour if you're willing to work the late shift. And so when, in that regard, we're not competitive. If a cafeteria worker is working 32 or 40 hours, the benefits package makes it very, very worthwhile to work for us. But one of the things that we're finding out from our cafeteria personnel is many of them have young children at home. So it really works for them to work 22 hours a week and still be home with their young children when school gets out. So it's a phenomenon with a lot of people in the service industry. You know, is it for what it costs for daycare, what it costs for someone to take care of my child? Is it really worth it for me to work at X number of dollars an hour? So it's a challenge we're working on.
Other questions? How do we compare on the ed tech open positions, 9 all in across the schools? Again, is that similar to the fight we're always in, or?
Yeah, it's
Low. It's low.
I get, say your question again?
So the food service situations, we're losing ground on. On the ed tech situation, is that similar to open positions last year, or are we,
It's about the
also
same.
losing ground?
There's just a shortage of teachers, and there's a shortage of people that are certified to do this kind of work. And one of the things that we've been doing to address the teacher shortages, we have ed techs that we think are highly skilled and really good, and we offer them the opportunity to work towards a teaching certificate. So every year we have 1 or 2 ed techs that become a teacher in the district. So we're sort of, on the one hand, we're addressing the teacher problem, but then we create a shortage of ed techs.
Is the school psychologist the opening we had last year, or is this a new, we were short one by the end of the year last year?
Correct.
So this is the same open position?
Correct. And we have been using a contracted service to fill the void on some of that work.
All right, anyone else? Thank you. Moving into new business, we have tabled the presentation on the data dashboard. And so next is an update on the organizational chart.
Is there anyone, I distributed the organizational chart at Personnel Committee. Is there anyone that does not have a hard copy of the organizational chart?
Craig, I think we're all going to need it because there was a change.
Yeah, okay.
Is the one in the packet?
That is correct.
The packet is correct.
So this is also in your packet. We have hard copies. It's pretty small to look at on your computer, Jim, if you want.
Yeah. So
Pulling it up right now.
what looks like a pretty simple diagram is a bit complicated. And so the district restructured a bit for the administrative level last year. And so we've been creating a chart that reflects what our administrative structure looks like. I want to publicly thank Maggie for the 38 drafts I had her recreate. And so the top is the school board, and the head administrator is the superintendent, and then the district is split in two. The director of curriculum staff development supervises the nursing staff and supervises the technology director. So she has roughly 7 direct reports. On the right-hand side is the operations side. You have the director of finance and operations, who has 4 direct reports, which is the facility supervisor, the transportation supervisor, the nutrition supervisor, and then the business manager. Below the business manager is the payroll specialist, the accounts payable, and the human resource specialist. And so all operations that was the major change in structure that was done administratively through the personnel committee and the school board. And then I have 5 direct reports: the special education director, adult education director, athletic director, technology director, and then the 5 building principals, in addition to the director of finance and operation and the director of curriculum and staff development, are all my direct reports. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 direct reports. And so for the first time in a little bit of a while, we do have a firmly designed organizational chart that lists the title, lists the reports, and I think the best thing is, I mean, you had a bit of a discussion today in the facilities committee, you know, where do we put the buses? What committee? Who do we call about the buses? Who's responsible? Well, now it's going to go in the facilities committee. And here, I think it's helpful for people, because oftentimes all these people get phone calls from the community or even from other employees within the district. I'm not sure who to call about such and such. I'm not sure who's responsible for such and such. So this will make it much easier for anyone that on the board, any of the employees or anyone in the community that is looking for information or service from the school.
It looks much better than last year's chart.
You know, it looks like a simple little thing to put together, but it is actually pretty complicated.
I would have one suggestion. I mean, I've looked at hundreds of these charts and throughout my checkered career, and they always have a date on the lower right as to when it was last revised.
When it goes on the website, it'll be dated. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Fran?
So it is quite different than last year's chart. Before, everything fell under the superintendent, and basically. And director of finance was pretty much directly assigned to the superintendent. So when public called or board members or anything, we always went through the superintendent. This new chart, it appears that we don't need to do that now because those different departments. Is that the idea? The public knows where to go to talk to these?
Sure. If you
Don't have
wanted
come
to,
through
if
it doesn't
you're,
have to come through the superintendent's office anymore. Is that it?
well, not every.
I mean, you know.
So
typically.
an example would be, you know, I'm Mrs. Jones, and you know the bus is late every day. Who do I call? What do I do? Well, there is the supervisor for transportation. She knows his name and she knows what office, and so it does make it easier for people to know who is responsible for what duty.
It aligns with our policy of asking people to resolve things at the closest level to the concern, instead of escalating immediately.
Yeah, another
General.
question. Director of Curriculum. The Nurse Health Office is under that department.
Correct.
And that, to me, doesn't, I don't understand how that relates.
She has a bachelor's degree in community health and has had 20 years' experience in community health.
Is that dividing her time from curriculum in nursing, which is completely different field, you know? In other words, seems like there's an awful lot to put on into one department is what I'm looking at. And technology to top it all off, you know.
She supervises, that's one person. The technology integrator, it's an instructional position.
But she does staff, so she's a staff.
She's the head, but she has people under her.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Grant and bond update. Is this you or me? Me. All right. I'll give Craig a break from talking and speak to this. Nothing formal to present. We continue to work on communicating to the public and the voters the material around our 3 referendum questions on the HVAC revolving renovation state funding grant, the facilities bond, and then the standalone turf field. So we have a website up. We had mailers go out to all of Gray New Gloucester. We spent some time at homecoming. We invited the community in for tours at homecoming. We had some great student leaders who showed folks around the facility, which was really fantastic. Relatively small turnout for that, but some nice conversations. So I'm glad that the kids had at least a handful of people to talk to. Maggie, is this a good time to insert the ballot signing piece?
There's 2, there's one for Gray, one for New Gloucester.
And you would like everyone to use your pens and sign in the
Same line.
same line you signed in both?
Yes. Yep.
It's like the same one.
There you go.
I may have stolen it.
Just needs to be a black pen.
You just never gave it back last time.
Yeah. There you go.
While we're doing that, I'll chat a little further. We do have a social media account being put together by the district for putting out information specifically around the bond questions. These posts will be a one-way pressing out, just getting information out to the public. It won't be a task of engaging with direct questions. There'll be likely a button that will allow someone to contact the district or send an email. We won't be actually monitoring or engaging, but we want to add some ways to reach more folks in more bite-sized ways. We had a table at homecoming all day after the tours, mainly staffed by myself, Sam, and Dr. King. It was great to see about half of the board who was there at some point in the day. It was, thank everyone for coming, supporting the kids and seeing what we're up to there. And we were able to have conversations with many people coming by, asking questions, giving their ideas. So we'll just continue to invite these conversations and do as much outreach as we can before November. Anything that I should be covering that I'm not saying?
I don't think so.
Sam?
If people wanted to visit this website that we've built that has all this information about the 3 questions, where might they go?
Well, they could go to any of our district websites, msad15.org, and they will see a big red button on all of our pages. And if they want to go directly, it's giving me a hard time right now, ironically. Do you know what off the top of your head, Sam, is it?
It says Air Quality Grant Capital Improvement Bond. Click to learn more.
Yes, and then if you want to go directly, well, that's probably the best way, right? Go to the website, sad15.org, click on the big red button, and you can learn about the air quality grant, the capital improvement bond package, and the standalone item around turf. There's some frequently asked questions, a lot of background information, links to documents, and also there's a button you can push, I believe, if you want to reach out and contact the board, which some folks have, and I appreciate that. I've been sharing emails on questions that have come into that email with the whole board and responding to them. The resident who reached out with questions about turf responded back thanking us for the information, and that was about it for outreach from this week.
So Penny, I got one of those little postcards in my mailbox, and it had this weird like square thing called a QR code. What am I supposed to do with that? Is it a way to access the internet, or what do I do with that?
So that is, if you're feeling very hip, you can open your cell phone camera, point it at, oh, you have one there, Misty?
Oh, I got one right here.
Point it at that code.
Open up my camera.
Sam will do the demo down there.
Open up my camera and I pointed at this square thing. Oh, and it says, do I want to open a website? I do. Look at that. Okay, let's see. And there it is. It comes right up. It's like magic.
That's amazing. Well done.
Right on my phone. It's crazy. All
Right on your
right.
phone. I will say, if you want to really dig into the material, I'm old-fashioned. I go to my laptop, go to the school website, because there is a great deal of information and it is a little easier to wade through on your phone. But if you're sitting in the doctor's office or waiting for your kid in the parking lot, the mobile site works well. All right.
Thanks, Penny.
Do we have can we ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So you said you're getting emails for the board. The board doesn't get the emails, just you? Is that how that goes?
If some people reach out to us a number of ways, sometimes like the one we had this week about turf, the person went to the trouble of finding all of our emails and putting them in. There is an email address that's just school board at SAD15 that is typically monitored by the chair. It's rarely utilized. When we do get an email, that's typically when you'll see me forward and say, I heard from a member of the public, this is, just want to share it with you so you are in the loop. So things that are addressed to school board as an entity, we all are aware of and then respond to as a single, sort of a main point of contact.
And one more question then. There has been a question about the turf cost. Will their phone tell them the answer to that if they click on that and tell them
so there's
the actual bottom line? But the question was, it was presented at one price, then it went down to a different price, and then now it's on the warrant for a different price. How is that addressed with this app thing that you have?
Well, there's a web page there's a page dedicated to the turf piece, and how we ended up dealing with that was because there's so much strong feelings around turf, we had them cost out the full project with grass and then the full project with turf. And so the turf question for the $702,735, that's just the difference between moving forward with the project with the turf instead of the grass. Question 2 includes the fields completely done with grass. There's no, that gets the project done without utilizing turf at all, but does include all the upgrades to grass fields. Does that answer the question?
Well, that's what I had said to the person, but,
Yeah, yeah, it's tricky. Jim?
2 questions. Just for clarity, how many turfs does that, how many fields does that turf question impact? Is it?
So it's one performance field. Earlier drawings had a 3-field configuration, but based on
Football/soccer field?
Yeah, just getting it to the right size for our community, it would just be one performance field. And the cost of a turf field is more than $700,000, but it's just the difference between grass and turf, because there'd still be a significant investment in updating the grass fields.
Okay. Lastly, now that we have all this information out, and it's been fairly well disseminated, at least up to this point, it certainly is. If you don't know about it, you don't really want to know. Then, is the board considering a public meeting now that it's a lot more tangible?
We don't have one on the books, but if we felt that it would be useful, or there's interest in, you mean like presenting the plans again, like we did in July, but now that it's the
I think now that it's in front of mind, so to speak, to use an often used expression, it's in front of mind that there might be a need for it. I'm not saying there is, but there might be a demand for it, or a market for it, so to speak.
We did have the tool.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly open to it. I would talk to as many members of the public that want to talk about it. We did advertise having the tours and whatnot at homecoming, but another night of showing the plans, walking through the process is certainly not off the table if we think folks will come. Sam?
I was just gonna say, I would certainly support another public information session, as many as people want, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
2 over the summer were well attended, and, if we want more, absolutely.
There's probably a whole new population of folks, to your point, who are aware of it now, but it wasn't on the radar in July.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
I had been thinking about that as well. So we certainly could do like a late October, mid-October public meeting, or presentation. I mean, there's not a lot, the plans are, fairly set at this point, but it would be good to offer a review of the information again, and,
We're good. Thank you.
Good idea. Sam?
Just to add on to that,